7 years, we've had to deal with high ping players from all across the world. If you play on US West, you have to deal with Asia players and OCE players. If you play on US East, you have to deal with European players and Russian players and everybody else. Everybody seems to want to come to the US servers for whatever reason. And the devs have just said they have some sort of possible solution. So let's see what they have to say. High ping separation. Last week we shared that we had been making adjustments to matchmaking. Today we want to talk more about what those changes were and what our plans will be moving forward. We saw that high ping players were presenting an issue for the community regularly. Okay. You know how many people over the last 7 years, people associated with Crytek, not necessarily Crytek employees, but cringe Discord moderators, people like that have been saying there's no issue with high ping, there's no problem with that at all. It doesn't cause any problems whatsoever. We had to deal with that shit for 7 years of people pretending it didn't do shit. Boom. Punch to the face for everybody who thinks high ping isn't an issue. As a result, we began collecting and analyzing player data around ping during matchmaking. Our goal was to investigate potential solutions, and this data allowed us to work on identifying an ideal cutoff point for high ping on a per region basis. This means we've been able to experiment with refining the matchmaking experience to ensure fairer connections for all players. To begin with, we investigated region locking for various servers, but we found the system too easy to circumvent using a VPN. Sure. 2 weeks ago, we tried introducing a new system that would separate any players with a ping above a certain defined threshold from the rest. Here's how the high ping separation works. And I'm not saying they got the idea from me, but I'm not kidding. This was an idea that I had that we talked about on stream where you could queue into any region. You're allowed to queue into anywhere. If you got friends that only exist on the other side of the planet, you can play with them and you can queue into whatever region you want. But the way I described it was there's an A category and a B category for every region. If you have low ping, you go into the A category. If you have high ping, you go into the B category. And it sounds like that's what they did. When matchmaking begins, teams are evaluated based on the highest ping player on the team. If that highest ping player crosses the threshold, the entire team is considered high ping. So I guess if you have 2 people from US West and 1 person from Australia on your team and you're queuing onto US West, because of that one high ping person, your whole team is now in the high ping category. High ping teams are then placed in a separate matchmaking pool where they'll be matched against other high ping teams. Normal ping players continue to match in the standard player pool, improving connection quality across those matches. If a high ping player is matchmaking solo or with randoms, they'll also be sorted into the high ping pool. What counts as high ping isn't set in stone right now. We're experimenting with a starting threshold of 125 ping. We'll be testing slight shifts and variations as we gather more region-specific data based on what we've seen so far. We expect the final cutoff to sit somewhere between 100 and 150 ping. I sure hope it doesn't go to 150. Closer to this number. 100, please. Depending on the region. Although these changes are proving effective so far, I'll see about that. We'll see. We're going to get into that in just a second. Although these changes are proving effective so far, there are still improvements to be made, and we plan to continue tweaking the system, monitoring results, and refining matchmaking overall. With that in mind, we have a few changes in the pipeline that we will be trialing. Deactivating this matchmaking separation in Russian and South American servers. We've seen that due to location, infrastructure, or other reasons, some players can't achieve better ping, so we'll try creating safe space regions for those unable to improve. Raising the initial high ping threshold from 125 to 140 as a pure experiment. This will help better understand how small adjustments to the threshold impact matchmaking quality, player distribution, queue times across different regions. Making these improvements means you may notice changes to your matchmaking experience over the coming weeks, but rest assured that these fluctuations are intentional and with good cause. It's also important to keep in mind that these changes will have the most impact during periods where active player count is at its peak. Although the system may make wait times for some players slightly longer at the moment, we'll see more improvements when many players return for the next event. Clock's ticking on that one. Better step it up. People are losing interest during the times that I play, which is here. It's in the mid 5,000s now. Oof. So it is getting pretty dead. The queues are getting pretty long. Any issues that may arise as we continue to test and tweak the system will be closely monitored and resolved quickly as we fine-tune performance. As always, we appreciate your patience to hope the new high ping separation system will improve the overall hunt experience for everyone. If all of this is true, good. However, they just talked about this today. They just released this statement today. Over the last few weeks, I heard from some people that this is what they were doing. They would have like a wall in between high ping players and low ping players, right? And I've been looking at my opponents as I play, and let's take a look at some of the opponents that I had when I was playing on US West, shall we? Here's one. Here's one. Name not in English. Okay, that's fine. Well, here's another one. Now, there was someone from Crytek that was watching my stream, and I brought up the point that high ping players are still getting onto the US servers. And what they said was, well, when we check, most of the time, it's someone who just changes their Steam name or changes their region to say that they're from China. Could be a troll. Which definitely does happen. That is absolutely a thing that does happen. However, do you think this person with these friends is doing that? What about this person? Do you think this person with all these friends is actually from the US and all of these people are fake? What about this guy with all these friends? Do you think this person is from Asia? What would you guess? Where do you think they're from? Do you think they're from the US or do you think they're from Asia? Because I would guess, if I was a bettor, I would guess they're not from the United States. It is completely possible that somebody can change their Steam name to something else and to change their displayed region to Asia to be a troll. Absolutely. But clearly, people are able to get around this, whether it's because they didn't have the ping threshold set to the certain amount that it needs to block everybody. But without a doubt, Asia players are still able to get to the US servers. So it's not quite working perfectly yet. If they actually get it to a point where I don't have to fight high ping players, that is good. I'm worried that they're going to set the ping threshold too high and then it's pointless. That's my worry. They're going to say, hey, we did this high ping separation thing and the problem solved now, but they're going to set it at 150 ping and, high ping players are still going to be able to play with everybody else. With the player count that I just showed you, it's not like this game is flourishing right now. We're not hitting record peaks of player count right now. So that is kind of a difficult thing to do when the player count is so low. It's just abysmally low right now. If they actually do what they say, that's a good thing. But the execution part is where Crytek usually stumbles a bit. We'll see. I think on top of all this, I never understood why you can even choose your region. Why not make it so that you don't choose your region and you just click ready and you get sent into the lowest ping region, period, so that it's not abusable. You can invite your friends. If you and your friends are from different regions, it figures out what the lowest average region is for your team and it sends you into that region. Why even have the option to choose what region to queue into? There's other games that I've played that do exactly that. It does not let you choose what region to go into specifically. It just sends you into the lowest ping region. Hopefully it's good, and maybe this recent 15% layoff that they had with their employees, where they got rid of 15% of their staff, maybe that's going to be, an awakening for them. I hope it is. This is like one of the only things that could happen that makes this game actually turn around and start becoming better. So hopefully that was a moment where they're like, oh shit, we need to start doing some shit correctly because it's not great. So hopefully it's good. We'll see. With the player base the way it is, this plus the 2.3 update, which I already made a video about, you should go check that out. Is it too little too late? They said they're working on regaining player trust. Is this too little too late? I don't know. We'll see. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.